Introduction to Chaos. Chaos is not simply disordered, it is a metaphysical realm entirely beyond our physical universe. It is referred to as the acausal, a multidimensional state that exists outside the constraints of time, space, and causality. Unlike our universe, which has one temporal dimension and three spatial dimensions, the acausal is unrestricted, contains infinite dimensions, and operates on principles alien to causal logic. It is bound by the laws of cause and effect and seeks to preserve its own structure. Chaos, on the other hand, represents complete freedom. It is the origin of all things, yet it is also the force that dissolves all structures. The cosmos arises from chaos and will one day return to it. Cosmos versus chaos. Our reality is called the cosmos, a realm of limitation, form, and law. Our view is anti-cosmic, meaning it actively opposes the order and stability of the cosmos and seeks to realign the self with the freedom and potential of the acausal. This inner flame is our connection to the acausal realm. It is considered our true self, in contrast to the ego or I, which is shaped and confined by causal reality. The black flame. Through introspection, meditation, and ritual, one can turn the eye inward toward the black flame and begin the process of reuniting with chaos. At the center of chaosophy is the concept of the black flame, name given to the acausal essence that exists within human beings. The eye is described as a focal point of consciousness that limits the full multidimensional potential of the black flame. It serves as a gateway to the acausal and a map for spiritual transformation, spiritual development. This process is described as a synthesis of ego and inner flame, resulting in a heightened state of awareness and the awakening of the Dragones, Ayrton Ivra, symbolic faculty that sees beyond cosmic illusion and accesses multidimensional truth. This awakening allows the practitioner to experience their acausal identity and begin to break free from causal limitations. Numerological symbols. We use numerology to convey deeper meanings. 0 represents chaos, formless, dimensionless, infinite. 10 symbolizes the closed system of the cosmos, which suppresses the true self. 11 is the number of transcendence. It represents that which goes beyond the cosmic cycle. Breaking the prison of 10 and opening the path to chaos. The open pentagram, with its 11 points, is a key symbol of this liberation. Chaos is personified through various ancient symbols. Tiamat represents pre-cosmic chaos in Sumerian mythology. Huber, the black dragon, symbolizes post-cosmic chaos, a destructive return to the source. These mythic figures are not literal gods, but symbolic representations of the forces. The destruction of form, liberation from structure, and reabsorption into primordial freedom. Chaosophy. Ultimately, chaosophy is a metaphysical and spiritual doctrine that teaches the practitioner to reject the cosmic order as a prison, embrace the inner black flame as a source of truth and power, awaken to the acausal reality through gnosis, work toward the dissolution of the cosmos and the return to chaos. These are the first teachings in Liber Azerate. In Liber Azerate, we find the Chaosophic litany. It is a ritualistic, poetic invocation that serves as a spiritual affirmation of the core principles of chaos Gnosticism and anti-cosmic Satanism. It is not a doctrinal text, but rather a spiritual meditation, philosophical declaration and mystical alignment with the primordial forces of the acausal. This litany is intended to be recited or meditated upon by practitioners to reinforce their metaphysical rebellion against the cosmos and to awaken their acausal essence. The Black Flame. Chaosophic Litany. 1. Opening Invocation. I appeal to you. O nameless mother, I raise the soundless voice of my shackled spirit to the invisible dragon. The speaker invokes two primary symbols of chaos: a nameless mother and an invisible dragon. These metaphors reflect chaos as both feminine and draconic. The shackled spirit refers to the inner black flame trapped within the structure of the cosmos. 2. Desire for a causal unity. I seek to be embraced and absorbed forever by my acausal flame. The practitioner desires not worship or separation, but absorption into the acausal, effectively eliminating the ego self and merging into the formless void. This line reflects a Gnostic-style liberation through annihilation of the false self. Everything else is a temporary illusion. 3. Illusory nature of emotions and form. Desire is form, hatred is illusion, love is a dream. The litany asserts that all emotions and mental constructs are products of the cosmos. They're meaningless from the perspective of the acausal. Only the essence of chaos is real. 4. Rejection of the senses. Verbal description detracts from your power to divest me of my senses. This reinforces the anti-rational, anti-material stance of chaos Gnosticism. Language, perception, and logic are portrayed as barriers to truths, instruments of the demiurge that veil true understanding. 5. Mystical submission. I abandon my fear and cast myself into the darkness of the unknown. The speaker demonstrates willing surrender to chaos not as a god, but as a formless, metaphysical condition. This is a call for self-annihilation, not in a nihilistic sense, but as a sacred act of returning to one's origin. 6. Identification with chaos. You are everything that is not, and all I wish to become. This is central to MLO metaphysics. Chaos is both the negation of all structure and the true identity of the practitioner. The practitioner does not view chaos as external, but as the deeper truth of their own nature. 7. Chaos as liberation and peace. You are the union of being and non-being, the only path to unending peace. Peace in this worldview is not found through balance, morality, or transcendence in the traditional sense. Instead, it is found through total destruction of the causal self and return to cosmic non-duality, a state beyond suffering, because it is beyond form and perception. 8. Closing affirmations. And mentally reposition the practitioner from within the causal to the acausal frame of reference. You the chaos from without, you the chaos that shall overcome. The litany closes with the affirmation that chaos will prevail over the structure of the cosmos. It reflects the broader eschatological theme of Liber Azerate, the eventual destruction of the cosmic order and the return to the formless acausal origin. Practical and ritual use. The Chaosophic litany is not a spell or command, it is a personal alignment tool. Reciting or contemplating it is meant to deconstruct the ego, strengthen the black flame. It may be used in rituals of initiation, meditation, or self-negation. Philosophical function. The litany bridges poetry and metaphysics and functions on 3 levels. 1. Psychological. It disorients and destabilizes causal identity structures. 2. Spiritual. It calls forth a deeper connection to the black flame, the acausal essence within. Cosmological. It affirms the practitioner's role in the coming collapse of the cosmos and return to chaos. 3. It calls on the practitioner to reject all structures, moral, emotional, physical, and perceptual, and to instead embrace the formless infinite potential of chaos. But in formlessness, it explores how Aeons shape the human world and how satanic practitioners can influence, corrupt, and ultimately destroy the current Aeon to make way for a new Aeon of chaos. Not in becoming, but in unbecoming. And that salvation is found through dissolution, not elevation. Liber Azerate is a mystical declaration of metaphysical rebellion. It encapsulates the heart of chaos Gnosticism. That truth lies not in order. The next section is about Ionic black magic, part of a larger battle against the demiurge and his cosmic machinery. Here, magic is not personal or psychological, it is a global metaphysical weapon. Definition of Aeon morality, belief systems, and laws on the cosmos. In MLO cosmology, an Aeon is a massive spiritual force or period that imposes structure, and are viewed here as agents of cosmic oppression. Each Aeon goes through 4 phases, mirroring the seasons. O spring. The Aeon is born and spreads its influence. O summer. It reaches its peak power. O autumn. It begins to weaken. O winter. It decays and faces destruction. This cyclical model explains how spiritual systems evolve and how each Aeon feeds on human consciousness to maintain its form. Aeons as archons. cosmic parasites. Each Aeon is considered a manifestation of the demiurge, the tyrannical false creator god who imposes illusion and order. These Aeons are identified with the 7 planetary spheres known as the 7 archons. They imprison the human spirit within material existence. The archons include traditional deities like those of Sumerian mythology who defeated chaos. From a chaos Gnostic view, all mainstream religions and philosophies serve these Ionic forces and perpetuate enslavement to form, morality, and causality. The Satanist role. Ionic warfare, the goal of the Satanist is to overthrow the current Aeon, which represents cosmic order, and bring about a new dark age, the Aeon of chaos. This is done not just through ritual, but by using one's will, belief system, and strategy to infect and collapse existing spiritual and cultural paradigms. The MLO calls this approach a sinister strategy, a long-term plan to cause spiritual and energetic collapse of the current world order. Liber Azerate presents the Satanic Creed, concise yet potent summary of the core beliefs, values, and commitments of a practitioner aligned with the MLO's anti-cosmic Satanism. It is a formal declaration of allegiance to chaos and to Satan as its primary symbol and force. Unlike traditional false creeds that affirm divine order, morality, or cosmic harmony, this creed expresses total alignment with lawlessness, destruction, and the dissolution of the cosmos. Structure and purpose. The creed functions as a vow, similar to a religious or military oath. It is meant to be recited, internalized, or used in ritual, especially by initiates, to reinforce loyalty to the path of chaos and the mission of Ionic dissolution. It encapsulates both metaphysical belief and ethical rejection of the dominant Ionic values. Core beliefs and principles. Let's break it down thematically. Allegiance to Satan and chaos. I accept Satan, the god of the wrathful chaos, as Lord and Father. Satan is described not as a moral adversary, but as the embodiment of wrathful chaos. He is both a cosmic adversary and a paternal figure guiding his destructive force that enables spiritual liberation. Single law. Lawlessness, and subject myself to his will. Overwhelming lawlessness. This is a deliberate paradox. By submitting to chaos, one abandons all laws. It reflects the rejection of all structures, legal, moral, natural, and metaphysical, that underpin the cosmos. Rejection of illusion and affirmation of wisdom. I believe in the truth beyond all forms, and in the word by which the lie will be overthrown. Is wisdom. All structured forms are considered lies or illusions, enforced by the demiurge. The true word is wisdom, meaning gnosis direct, experiential understanding of the acausal. Glorification of conflict and sacrifice. I believe in the struggle and in the gold. And in the goal, the end of the Aeon life is framed as warfare against the current Aeon, act against illusions, and against one's own limitations. The practitioner must be ready to shed blood, even their own, to accelerate cosmic collapse. Values. Strength over compassion. I believe in courage, strength and power, and therefore reject pity, compassion. And cowardice, traditional virtues are labeled Ionic shackles, tools to enslave the strong. The creed replaces them with individual power, discipline, and dominance. Order within chaos. For our calling to be achieved, the chaos in our order must dominate the order for the time being. I believe in discipline and loyalty. Despite its emphasis on chaos, the creed values order among Satanists as a strategic necessity. This reflects a structured, tactical approach to destruction, not random or impulsive rebellion. Formula of Ionic transition, chaos, ab ordo. I believe in the formula for the endless dark Aeon. Chaos ab ordo, a reversal of order from chaos. chaos. Here, order is seen as decay, and true life and power emerge only through destruction and chaos. Sacrificial willingness. I am entirely prepared to place the bloody sacrifice on the altar of freedom. The practitioner sees sacrifice, ritual, symbolic, or actually as necessary to liberate themselves in reality from order. Creation and destruction as unified. I believe in creation from chaos and destruction by chaos. Creation is only authentic when it emerges from the acausal, not within the limited forms of the cosmos. Thus, destruction is not merely negation, it is part of the process of cosmic renewal and liberation. Satan is an inner and outer force. I recognize Satan as the messenger and avenger, as well as the external aspect of my inner strength. Satan is both symbol and catalyst. O, external, a cosmic force working to destroy the end. O, internal, the black flame within driving personal transformation. I am pleased to see ahead to the final battle and the coming victory. There is an apocalyptic vision of an eventual, inevitable collapse of the current order. The Satanists sees themselves as an active agent in that war, contributing to the fall of the Demerge's creation. Ritual and psychological purpose. The creed is designed to serve as a ritual affirmation of anti-cosmic alignment, displace old moral programming by embedding a new, chaos-centered ideology, reinforce a sense of mission, identity, and direction in the practitioner. The Satanic Creed is not just a list of beliefs, it is a declaration of war against existence as we know it. It formalizes the Satanist role as a destroyer of cosmic order, a vessel of the black flame, and a loyal soldier in the coming dark Aeon. Way must oppose form, worship formlessness, and embrace chaos as the true and eternal principle. The 11 Angles. Liber Azerate shows a mythological structure that underpins the metaphysical worldview of the MLO. The 11 angles are symbolic of the primordial emanations of chaos. They are not literal gods or demons, and also its center and return point. From Satan comes the first manifestation, Moloch, who represents the blazing, devouring abyss. Then, through a chain of emanations, 10 more dark entities unfold, each one expressing a different aspect of a causal force and anti-cosmic power. But metaphysical principles and forces that represent the breakdown of the cosmos and the return to the acausal, which symbolizes the gateway to chaos. The 11th point. The final return is Satan again, who both initiates and completes the cycle. Thus, Satan is not just a god among others. He is the totality of anti-cosmic reality, the axis around which all other emanations revolve. The core idea is that Satan is the first emanation of chaos, but internally, to awaken the black flame and fully realize their identity as an agent of chaos. Each of these beings is said to occupy one of the points of the 11-angled star, also known as the open pentagram. These invocations are poetic, declarative affirmations that the practitioner is aligned with each force, not as a servant, but as a becoming. The practitioner doesn't worship these forces but recognizes them as aspects of their own true self, fragmented through layers of causality and illusion. These dark gods are, the Satanist is not just defying the cosmos, we are systematically breaking it down, internally and externally, and reconstructing their identity through the 11 currents of chaos. Moloch, the devouring fire and abyss, Beelzebub, decay, collapse, and the storm winds of destruction. Lucifuge, Rophocale, the destroyer of light, the bringer of oppressive darkness. Astaroth, the embodiment of sensual insanity and anti-human chaos. Modius, divine hatred, fury, and the force that seeks to kill the creator. Belphegor, will to power, divine pride, and internal elevation. Baal, war, conquest, the destruction of stagnant forms. Adramelech, secret alchemy, a causal awakening, inner poison. Lilith, feminine chaos, nightmare, and primal darkness. Nama, death, blood, seduction, and infernal transformation. Each of these angles serves as a step or gateway through which the Satanist must pass. Not externally, the section includes an invocation to each of the 11 angles. Through this mythic system, the 11 angles serve a dual purpose: ritual, practical, as focal points for invocation, meditation, and ritual work that deepens the practitioner's alignment with the acausal. Symbolic, philosophical, as a map of the Satanist. It's a spiritual journey from confinement, with informed toward total reintegration with chaos. The path of Satanism in the MLO tradition is not simply about rebellion, but about a complete transformation of metaphysical identity.